Hi, welcome to 90% Knitting. This is episode 175, and I'm Lisa, your host, also known as Fiber Nymph, on Ravelry, Plurk, and Instagram. Today is Thursday, October 8th, and yeah, it's a not do anything with my hair kind of day. I washed it, I let it kind of dry, and I just didn't bother straightening it, so I hope you don't mind. You're kidding me, as I am. I did throw a little bit of makeup on today just so that I don't look dead, but the hair I just didn't have time with. I wanted to get this recorded, and it's already almost 11:30, so I wanted to get it done before noon because I have other work I have to do. Anyway, thank you for being here. There are no new people to introduce. I didn't introduce any last week, and then I looked today and realized that nobody has introduced themselves on the welcome thread in a few weeks, so I'm good. But if you do, well, I'll welcome you at some point. And if you are new and just haven't introduced yourselves, then let me just say hello. I'm glad you're here. I am feeling a little out of it today. I'm not sure what's going on. I am really tired. I went to the gym last night. I'm trying to get back into a routine. I'm having the hardest time. I think I mentioned maybe last time or time before I had started going back to my kickboxing gym that I used to go to, and I did that in October. No, I did that in September. Sorry. And then as I was looking into October, I realized that my schedule wasn't going to allow me to get there any more than like 3 times this month. And it's just too expensive to pay for the entire month when I'm only going to get there a few months. So I decided to opt out of the kickboxing gym for this month. But I still have my other gym that I go to, like to weightlift and do cardio and things like that. So I figured I just need to start getting there more often. So I went on Monday and I kind of eased into it. I was probably there a little under an hour, and I didn't really push myself. But then I went yesterday and I did more of my regular workout. So it wasn't really pushing myself beyond what I'm used to do, or what I usually do. It's just that I'm not used to doing that much because I haven't done that much in a while. So it really felt like I pushed myself a lot. And so I was tired when I came home, and when I woke up this morning, I could feel things that I haven't felt in a while. Things were a little tight. Plus, I was really tired last night, but I could not settle down to fall asleep. So I ended up taking a sleeping pill, which I hardly ever take. I haven't taken them in ages. I only reserve those for times when I really need them. And I haven't been sleeping that well this week. I've just been going to bed really late, and because I've been busy. And I thought I really need a decent night's sleep. So I got a really good night's sleep, but at the same time, I kind of woke up with that haze that you have sometimes after you've taken a sleep assistant. And yeah, so I don't know. I think I'm just starting to reach a point of burning out a little in general, because this has been a very busy fall work-wise. And I'm still in the midst of, well, it's kind of culminating right now because I've got Highlands on the fly next week. I leave Wednesday. And so I'm really pushing to get everything done that I need to take up there for the market day. And I'm not going to get it all done. There are just going to be certain things that I'm not going to be able to bring with me. And it is what it is. You can only do so much. Because at the same time, I'm also trying to finish up a big wholesale order that I need to ship out before I leave for Maine. So that has been a huge push, and I need to get that. I want to get that shipped out by Monday. So I've just been super busy, and it's catching up to me. So all that to say is, if I look a little out of it today or sound a little out of it, that's probably why. I'm just tired. But I will try to not be the. So, all right. Seeing as I've done mostly work this week, I haven't had a whole ton of knitting time, so that's going to go pretty quick for what I have to show you. Let me start with the zombie waffle socks, which I showed you the finished one. Well, I know I showed you the finished one already. That's been done for a little while. And here's the second one. I did not put a marker in to show you, or a progress keeper to show you where I was last time. I know I had started on the cuff. At least I think I did. Oh, no, no, no. You know what? You haven't seen this finished because I forgot. When I was away, when I was in North Carolina, I had finished it except for the afterthought heel. And I'd put the needles in to do the afterthought heel, but I didn't have sharp enough scissors to snip. That's right. So I did finish it this week. I got the afterthought heel in. So it is done. You haven't seen it completely done. Okay. I knew there was something. But in the meantime, I did cast on the second one. So I'm about... I have another 2 inches, about another 2 inches to go before I'll start doing the foot part. So anyway, this is the Blueberry Waffles pattern by Sandy Turner, and I'm knitting it out of my Fiber Nymph Dye Works Squish 2.0 base in the double tap colorway, which is what that looks like in the ball. And it's going well. I mean, it's a good project. I just sit and knit on it as I'm kind of sitting around and, you know, I'm on the phone. Socks have become my phone knitting lately because I haven't been doing much else to actually work on them. I really haven't. Usually mornings have been my knitting time. I think I've mentioned that. And I just haven't even been knitting in the mornings because I've pretty much gotten up, woken up enough, you know, had my coffee, and then started working. So I haven't had a lot of knitting time. Anyway, and this is my fun bat bag. Isn't it adorable? Let's see if I can find the... Do I still have the card in here? I don't. This is from Bead Sisters. I'm sorry, I'm totally blanking out. I'm pretty sure that's who it's from, though. Oh, yeah, it is. Tag on the inside, Lisa. This is my Bead Sisters bag. So, sparkly bat fabric. It's fun. All right, so that got a little bit of work. The other thing that got a little bit of work, oh, I did work on my hand spun Afghan square. It's the same one that I had started last time that I didn't show you, but that's the same yarn as one of the ones I did show you. I just didn't work on it very much. The Steelers didn't play last Sunday because they played Thursday night the week before, and so they didn't have a Sunday game. And Thursday I did watch the game. I stayed up and I watched it all the way through overtime, which I was not planning to do. I was planning to go to bed at halftime, but I was actually busy on my laptop and I just ended up getting distracted and stayed up, and I paid for that the next day too because I was super tired. But anyway, so I did knit on it a little bit during that game, but mostly I was working on my laptop, so not much to show you there, so I didn't even bother bringing it in. My Fable ankle socks, which I believe I did show you the start of last time. And that is in my... I have to look for tags on bags and see. There are no actual tags on... Oh, it's on the inside. My Jenna Rose bag that I showed you already. I'm still on the first sock. Again, this one didn't get a whole lot of work either. Okay, I'm not sure what this needle is doing. Is that a stitch or what are we doing here? Or you just randomly... Oh, okay. There we go. Sorry, this is all tangly. This is some of my Drops Fobble sock yarn that I got a while back. And I'm doing just a little ankle sock. So I've got about 1 inch of ribbing and 1 inch of cuff. And then I did a regular slip stitch heel flap. And I'm still on the gusset decreases. So it did not get a lot of love this week, but just didn't have time for it. So, and it is Drops Fable, however you want to pronounce it, print. And this is color 672. And I'm doing them on the US 1.5s, which is my standard sock needle for knitting socks. So the project that got the most work this week was my Slinky Ribs pullover. I'm frustrated. I finished it, but it's not finished. So here it is. I got the second sleeve put in again with the shoulder in the correct spot on top of my shoulder as opposed to on my back. It fits great from like the top, from the, basically from the breasts, the breasts, there on up. It fits great. The rest of it, This is a lot of stockinette fabric, and you can't really tell on here. Well, first of all, I knit it, and then I ended up deciding to do just a turned hem anyway. So I did a purl row and then knit more and then bound it all off and then seamed it, folded it over and seamed it. So it's a folded hem. I like how it looks. However, because you're coming off of all of this ribbing and going into just stockinette, this bottom part really flounces out. You know what? I should probably just try this on and show it to you so that you know what I'm talking about. Hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, here we are. Here's the top. Do you see what I mean? How much fabric there is? This is, and because, you know, my bust pulls the front up, it really flares out. The hem is also doing a funky little Jane Jetson or whatever thing here, but that's just because it's not blocked down. But honestly, it's making it a very sturdy hem, which on this kind of blousey fabric really does not work well. That's one thing. But the other thing is the fact that there is just too much fabric here. It's really heavy. There's nothing supporting it like the rib, you know, because it's more form-fitting. It supports itself, but then you get this and it just hangs, and so it's actually pulling this top part down, which, as you can see, I mean, this is already a scoopy scoop neck. I don't need it pulled down any farther. And it basically looks like a maternity top. This is not a good look on me. It's really not a good look on anybody who isn't pregnant, okay? So, anyway, my plan for this, and the other thing is there's actually a little bit more positive ease up here than I need in the ribbing area. I probably could have knit this whole thing a size smaller. I got gauge, but I guess I don't know. I wasn't expecting, sorry, I'm trying to bend over without flashing you. I was not expecting, it's on lopsided. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess I was expecting the ribbing to be a little tighter than it is, and it's actually a pretty nice giving rib. I'm just used to ribs, like when you buy sweaters that are really ribbed, they cling. This is not clinging quite as much as I thought it was going to. It fits nice. It's comfortable. But my plan, here's my plan. I am going to rip this whole stockinette section out. I'm going to go up here to the point where you can see the ribbing kind of got to a point where it variated lengths. I'm going to rip all the way back up to here to where the ribbing was all the same. And I'm going to re-knit this thing just in ribbing. I'm going to keep the ribbing. And I'm probably either going to go down a needle size from about here to here to do some like waist shaping-esque, you know, to get a little less fabric, and then I can go back up a little bit down here because that's hips. You can use a little extra there, especially in ribbing. Or I'm just going to actually do some waist shaping, like decreases, just to get rid of some of this extra fabric, because this is just way too much. And I don't like it. I will never wear it looking the way it does. Just never. And I'm not about to go down that path again. I put too much time to this. I like it too much. I love the colors of the yarn. I love how they worked out. But it is just way, way, way too baggy. It needs to be a little bit more form-fitting. You know, not totally clingy, but I mean, look at all this excess fabric. There is probably like 8 inches of extra fabric that does not need to be in this sweater. So anyway, all right, I'm going to pause and change again, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so, oh, that did wonders for my hair, putting that sweater on and off. So yeah, that's where I'm at with that sweater. I really, really wanted to have it to take with me to Maine. So if I'm going to do that, it's pretty much going to have to be my only knitting project between now and when I go. That's the only way I'll get it done. So hopefully later today I'll have a little bit of time and I can pick out my hem, undo all of my woven in ends that I will need to do to bring it up to that point in the ribbing, and I can get it back on the needles and get going. I don't think it's actually going to take that long because just going around and around in a circle doing is it 2x2 or 4x4 ribbing? Whatever ribbing is, that'll be really easy. Yeah, so I'm not worried about it. It's just sort of frustrating to have actually finished it and then realizing, nope, that's not going to work. And it was funny because I did try that sweater on a lot as I was knitting it. But I was so concerned about the top part fitting right that I really wasn't thinking about the bottom. And since when I was trying it on with multiple circular needles in the bottom to hold all the stitches so that I could get it over my head, you know, it always sort of hung funny. It was really hard to see what it was really doing. And I know I had one of those hunches that like, this seems really big. But again, it wasn't finished. It was still on needles, so it was really just hard to tell. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat. So I pretty much ignored that little inkling of fear, kept going, persevered. I don't know. I'm trying to imagine what would make that sweater work as it's written, like with the ribbing and then the stockinette part. I can't imagine any hem, any, bottom part, ending part that would really let it be as flowy as it needs to be with all that blousey stockinette. Like ribbing obviously would not be attractive whatsoever because you don't want that pulling in. Letting it just roll, which is I think how they had it written in the pattern. I mean, okay, you could do that, but a rolled edge actually adds stability, kind of like a hem does, like that folded hem. So I don't know how flowy it would be. I think, too, another thing is the fact that the original sweater was knit out of Elspeth Levold's silky wool, which has a completely different drape than this Mirasol Hacha does. Even though they're both supposedly DK weight yarns, this definitely has a totally different feel to it than silky wool. And had I done it out of silky wool, I think I would still probably have the same issue with all that blousiness, but I think it would have more drape and not be quite as stiff around the bottom. I don't know. At any rate, I'm just going to do what I said I'm going to do. I'm going to rip it back, do the whole thing in ribbing, and hopefully that will make a difference. Plus, I think with the whole thing in ribbing and having it be a bit more form-fitting, that's going to help support the whole sweater instead of pulling it down as much as it is with all of that loose fabric. So that's my gut instinct on that at this point in time. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Let's see. Oh, speaking of Elspeth Levold Silky Wool, remember I finished my Mama Vertebrae a while back. I finally blocked it. I told you guys I wasn't real happy with it. Not just because of the front, the absence of fronts, as the pattern's written, but because it was so loose in the arm area. And that was just really uncomfortable. And I thought about pulling out the sleeves and just doing cap sleeves, and because that way then there at least wouldn't be a double layer of extra fabric under my arms. But instead, in a moment of screw it ness, I decided to just throw it in the washer and dryer and see if I could get it to snug up some. Because I have another sweater that I've made out of silky wool. I think I've told you this before. The Nantucket Red by Thea Coleman. I have thrown that one in the washer and dryer a billion times to get it to snug up after I've worn it, because it definitely loses its shape as you wear it. It doesn't have good memory. I've never had a problem with that sweater. It always has turned out lovely when it's come out of the dryer. And so, same yarn, I did the same thing. It felted. It didn't just, snug up. It legitimately felted. I'm at a loss. I mean, it looks like it would fit a toddler. It's super short now. It is definitely not baggy under the armpits, but it also comes to the sides on me if I can squeeze myself into it. I'm so frustrated with that. I mean, I could care less because I was at the point where there is absolutely nothing to lose on this, which is why I did that. But I'm baffled about the yarn because, like I said, the ball band that I had for it shows the content as being different than the content that's listed on Ravelry for it. So I don't know if they have redone fiber content over the years, you know, modified it. I don't know if the yarn, the silky wool that I used for my Nantucket Red was one of the other variations on the fiber. I don't know. It clearly, something was different about that than what I have, because the other one did not felt. This one did. I don't care. I am so over the Mama Vertebrae. I'm done with it. It is done. I stuck it in Emma's one drawer. I figure if she wants to try it on and if she likes it and would get wear out of it, fine. Otherwise, it's going in the Goodwill bag because I'm done with it. I don't even want to look at it. So, okay, I'll end that rant. That is it for any kind of crafting that I did this week, because I just didn't have time to do anything else. No spinning again. Let's talk about the alphabet cow that is over, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to record today, even though I don't have a whole ton of other stuff to talk about. But I wanted to announce the winners because I haven't done that yet, and it's already the 8th of October, so I felt like I should. So we had a total of 166 points earned, with, I believe, 48 people. Yes, 48 people participating in September. So I went ahead and I drew, oh crap, sorry, I need to go grab the prizes. Right back. Continue what you're doing. Okay, here I am. It's going to be one of those episodes. Okay. Just trying to figure out what mess you saw behind there. Oh gosh. Okay. It doesn't look too bad right now. Okay. Prizes. I've drawn the winners already since it takes a whole lot of finagling with all of the information I have. The first prize is, again, a $10 gift certificate for patterns from Melinda Vermeer's Ravelry shop, her pattern shop, which she, again, was so kind to donate that every month of the knit along. So again, thank you so much, Melinda. That was wonderful of you, and I really appreciate it. And the winner of the $10 worth of patterns for September is Z Shane, who is Shane on, well, he's Z Shane on Ravelry. His name is Shane, and he has a wonderful podcast, the Knit Reversion podcast. If you haven't seen that, check it out. He won the $10 in gift patterns, so yay. In gift patterns, you know what I mean, the $10 gift certificate to put towards patterns from Melinda. And his winning item was the, I don't know how to pronounce this, the Vrain, I don't know if it's Y-V-A-I, I can't even read my own writing, R-E, so Vray shawl, I don't know, I'm sorry. It's a really pretty shawl. Good job on it, Shane. Anyway, Shane, PM me when you see this. Let me know that you know you won, and then I will hook you up with the coupon code so that you can go redeem it for some lovely patterns from Melinda. Okay, the next winner is for the Undead yarn, and this is from Heidi of Undead Yarns on her Vampiri base, and it's Every Day is Halloween. This is a self-striping. 462 yards of 75-25 superwash merino and nylon. Very fun, very seasonal. And the winner of this is Eco Geek, who is Bernadette. And her winning item was the traveling cable hat. So congratulations, Bernadette. Please PM me with your mailing address, and I will get this shipped out to you so you can enjoy that. So, yay! And lastly, the last prize is a flurry kit. It's a flurry cow kit in my earthenware red and sunken treasure gold colorway, and it comes with the download code, the pattern code for the flurry cowl, free. And the winner of that is Ananzi, Melissa. And her winning entry was one of, she did several of them. The pattern's called 3 Pretty Washcloths. So the number 3, but it starts with a T, so it qualified for this month. So yay, Melissa! Melissa has knit so much for this well, a lot of you guys did, but I know she was one who actually did do something every month. So it's nice to see her win something. So Melissa, let me know whenever you see that you won this, and I'll put it in the mail to you. I know I have your address on hand, so anyway. Alrighty, that is everything to do. Oh, no, it's not. That's everything to do with the monthly prizes. Oh, by the way, all of the August prizes have been delivered now. The 2 that had to be mailed were mailed, and the winner of the $10 gift certificate from Melinda for August, I'd never heard from them, but that was also the episode that got screwed up and it didn't upload right to places, so the person may not have even seen it, but I messaged them on Ravelry and told them that they won and gave them their coupon code. So those are all out. September, please please get in touch with me as soon as you can so I can get your things out to you. Now, if you, like Melinda, or Melissa, sorry, if you, like Melissa, have participated with a qualifying entry, at least one qualifying entry each month of the Alphabet Cow, June, July, August, September, you're eligible for being in the grand prize drawing, which the grand prize will be a $100 gift certificate for my shop for yarn or fiber. But you need to actually put your qualifying entries in the thread that I have set up on Ravelry. So if you go to the 90% knitting group, I'm going to go there so I can tell you exactly where you have to go. Go to the 90% knitting group, and up at the top there's a sticky thread called Alphabet Cow Grand Prize is what it says there, but it's actually a Grand Prize verification thread, no chatter. My first post tells you exactly what you have to do. It's super simple. If you participated in all 4 months, all you need to do is post once in this thread listing your post number from each of the 4 months no chatter threads. So June, whatever number post you were, July, whatever number post you were, August, September. That's it. That's all you need to put in there. It's just so that I can verify your entries quick and easy. I'm going to leave this thread up. What did I say? I'm going to leave it up through October 19th. At least. Actually, I'll definitely be leaving it up through the 20th because that's when I'll be getting back from Maine. I don't know why I put the 19th. You have at least until the 19th to put your information in there. If I don't get around to closing it, then you can still keep putting your information in until I close the thread, but it will at least be up through the 19th. And in order to be entered for the grand prize drawing, you have to post in this thread if you qualify. I'm not going to go back and verify everybody, just to make that clear. This is up to you. If you want to be in the drawing, if you did the work and you want to be in the drawing, you have to post in this thread. Okay, so that is that. And that ends the Alphabet Cow. And I will do the drawing for the grand prize on the first... Muffin, what are you doing under there? Oh, maybe that was me. The dog's underneath my desk and I heard clicking. Anyway. No, that's her. I don't know. Okay. I'll announce the winner of the grand prize. What is that? Seriously, what are you doing? Please stop. I think her ID tag is clicking on the floor because she's licking her paws. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I can. Okay. Once again, the next podcast that I record after the thread closes is when I will do the drawing for the grand prize. So it'll definitely be before the end of October. It'll probably be, well, it'll obviously be after Highlands on the Fly. So yeah, you've got a couple of weeks. So, okay. I am thinking about the next along that I want to do, and I think the next one's going to be a spin-along rather than a knit-along. And what I want to do is a natural wool spin-along. So that means, as opposed to fake wool, that's not what I mean. I mean undyed yarn, so natural colors of wool. Undyed fiber, not undyed yarn. So the spin-along will be for spinning undyed natural colored fibers of your choice. You know, it can be anything, whatever you want. If you want to challenge yourself to spin some breed that you've never spun before, that comes, you know, like an Icelandic or Shetland or whatever, please do that. But that's not a qualification. It can be any You know, if you have a fleece that you're processing and you're going to spin it, you know, undyed, that would qualify. Obviously, you know, starting from the fleece on up is not a requirement for that either, but if you're doing it, hey, more power to you. But anyway, I've decided I'll start that not right at the beginning of November. We're going to start that November 15th because that will give you time, if you want to participate, you'll have time to acquire some natural fiber if you don't have any on hand, or if you have a specific breed that you'd like to work with. That'll give you time to get that. And I actually have on order some special fiber that I'm going to put together in some 10-ounce spinning kits that I will make available prior to the start of the Spinalong. And that is going to be some really, really pretty Shetland in 5 different shades of natural Shetland colors. I can't wait for that. That's what I'll be doing for the Spinalong. Not that I don't have tons of other natural fiber around here, but I'll only have a limited number of those, so I will let you know as soon as I have them and when they're going to be available in the shop. I'm not exactly sure how I'll do that because I'd really like to reserve them for people who are specifically wanting to use them for the Spinalong. So I may not put them in the shop directly. I may reserve them. I may have you reserve them. Once I know how many I'll have, I might put a sign up in the group here, and you can sign up for them, and maybe I'll just invoice you individually for those. I may do that way. We'll see. But I want to give people who want to use it for the Spinalong first dibs on that fiber. So, okay, so look forward to that. This actual Spinalong will start November 15th, and that will run through the rest of the year. Because I know it's a really busy time of year. A lot of people are doing holiday knitting and everything, so spinning may not be something that you're going to do a lot, but I figured that's a month and a half, and so if you're just doing like 4 ounces, that should give you plenty of time. If you're going to do the 10 ounces from the kit, you know, the Shetland kit that I'm going to put together, you probably could still do it in that amount of time, or part of it, or whatever, however you want to do it. And I will definitely be adding a thread with the guidelines for that cowl in the near future. The guidelines are going to be much more relaxed than they were for the alphabet cowl. In fact, if I ever say I'm doing a cowl again that requires all of this point tracking like I did this time, please somebody just reach out and smack me. That was horrible. I'd never want to do that again. I thank you guys so much for doing it and being so good at keeping track of things the way you did, but I will never do that again. Simple is best. So anyway, this Spinalong will definitely be easier than that. All right. Let's see. New things. I do have a couple of new things to show you. Oh, poo. Again, I got a new pattern, and I don't have it here. My friend Amelia was kind enough to send me a beautiful cowl pattern. I'll have to find it and talk about it next time. I'm sorry, but thank you, Amelia. I've already said thank you, but I was going to show it. Sorry. But what I do have is some fiber. Like, I need more fiber. And this I can't even use for the Spinalong. But I caught a hobbledehoy update. You know, I rarely catch updates when they first go up because I don't track them very well. So it's really a fluke if I happen to be on, you know, Instagram or something when somebody posts that they've just done an update, or if I'm watching a podcast. Actually, that happened this past week or so too. I was watching Kristen from Vine, and she was saying, I was watching her podcast on Thursday. No, I was watching it on Friday. She had recorded on Thursday, and so she was talking about the update that was going to be happening on Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern. And I'm watching this at like 1:55 Eastern. I'm like, yes! Because she showed this, well, she showed a couple of really pretty things, but the one was like a new colorway, and I'm like, that's so pretty. And I'm like, I can't believe I'm going to hit this. And so I came in here and I did. I bought the yarn immediately as soon as it went up on the update. It's like, that never happens to me. So anyway, it's not here yet, so I can't show you. I'll show you next time. But the fiber that I got from hobbledehoy did come. And it's 2 of her battling sets. The yellowy gold orange one is called Golden Snitch Batlings, and that is hand-dyed merino wool, bamboo, soy silk, sari silk, and gold sparkle. 2 ounces. They're pretty. I love yellows. And then the other one is called Alnwick Castle Batlings. I don't know what Alnwick Castle is. I'm not sure what that reference is. If it's an actual castle or it's something from somewhere else. I don't know. But its contents are hand-dyed merino wool, bamboo, soy silk, and green sparkle. So, it's got some gold in it. So my thought is I think these would look really pretty together. This is a little more, this is 2.2 ounces. I don't know if I could spin this and then ply them together, or I may alternate the little batlings, because I know there are the same number of batlings in each. So I could alternate the batlings, like maybe do 2 yellow, 2 bluish purple, 2 yellow, and have it that way, and then do a chain ply to preserve the color transitions. That could be kind of cool. I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it. But I saw both of these, and I really wanted to do something to put them together. There were actually 2 of these in the shop, and I almost thought about getting 2 of those, but I thought, I don't want just the yellow. I wanted to do something together with something else. So that's my kind of sort of plan, is to somehow put these together. I'm still thinking about it, but that's okay. They're new, so it's not like they're going to go on the wheel immediately anyway. So that's it. I think that's all of the new things that I have to talk about. I do have some new to me podcasts. I'll tell you what, watching podcasts, that's the danger. You watch a podcast, somebody mentions another podcast that you've never watched. So you look that one up and you start watching that one. And then that podcaster mentions another podcast. You know, it's sort of like a vicious cycle. Not really vicious because it's fun. But that's how I came across all of these podcasts that I just watched for the first time in this past week or so. And they are Idle Cat Knits with Ellen, who is Idle Cat Knits on Ravelry. She's from Texas, and I loved her podcast. She only has about 7 episodes up right now, but really well done. She's a lot of fun to listen to. And I enjoyed that. And she had a really pretty sweater on that she knit in a week. So yay, Ellen. Good job. The next one I watched was the Victorian Studio podcast. And that's with Maureen, who is Victorian Studio on Ravelry. And she's from Winnipeg. And she is very calming to listen to. She sounds like an NPR personality. That's how I approach. You know how they just have that very calm. I don't listen to NPR a lot, but that's what I associate, that type of voice. Just this very calm, even voice that I do not have. I can't even pretend to have that. I'm all over the place. But Maureen was very, very nice to listen to, and she had a lot of neat stuff to show. So I really enjoyed her. So check her out if you'd like. And then there was the Uncreative Crafter. I'm not sure why I've never come across her before, because she has a lot of episodes out, like 20 some, I think. And that is Jen. She is Storm Coast on Ravelry, and she's from New Hampshire, which, yeah. I don't know what else I was going to say with that. Anyway, so I really enjoyed watching her. And her episode that I watched was her most recent, and she was being really funny because she was talking about how podcasters tend to name drop, not like in a pretentious way, but just you end up talking about other podcasters or other, knitters that you know. And she was doing this drinking game thing. She's like, okay, you take a drink every time I say somebody, and she was drinking water. And it was just really funny because I've thought about that a lot watching other people's podcasts. There's some podcasters who kind of like Melissa and I, we each tend to mention each other a lot in each other's podcasts. So you could kind of do like a Melissa and Lisa drinking game. Like when you're watching me, every time I mention Melissa or Anansi, take a drink. Or if you're watching her and she mentions me or Fiber Nymph Dye Works, take a drink, It was funny. It struck me as really cute. Anyway, so that was her, Uncreative Crafter. And then lastly, I watched Not a Podcast, and that's not with Knot, Not a Podcast, with Amanda, who is Wit, W-I-T, on Ravelry, and she's from New York. And she's another one. I why have I not seen this podcast before? Because she's got several episodes out, and I really enjoyed her too, and she's got pink hair. So that's fun. And I feel like there was something specific that I was going to mention about the episode that I watched, and now I'm totally blanking on what it was because I didn't write it down. At any rate, 4 new podcasts, new to me podcasts. I really enjoyed them. I'll include them in the show notes so you can check them out if you'd like to. They're all on YouTube, so go check them out. Alrighty, that is pretty much everything for 90%. 10%, it's definitely gotten chilly here. We have like 40-degree mornings pretty regularly at this point, which is fine. I love the cooler weather, and the days are still getting a little bit warm, although today it's chilly, which is why I've got a hoodie on. It's a pink Carhartt hoodie too. I don't know if you can see the Carhartt written on it. Can you? Oh, there, sort of. Anyway, I don't know. I just find it amusing that it's a Carhartt hoodie and it's pink. So anyway, I love Carhartt stuff. Boy, I'm rambling. Okay. Last Saturday, it was chilly enough. I was resisting kicking my furnace on. I just didn't want to do it. So last Saturday, it was chilly enough in the morning that I decided I was going to try out the new pellet stove because I had not tested it yet. The guys who installed it did not bring pellets with them in order to test it, which I thought was a little weird. But they said the warehouse was out of them, so they didn't have any to bring. Okay, and mine hadn't been delivered yet, so fine. They explained to me what to do to start it. It's got an electric ignition thing, so there's no matches or anything. And it's run off of a thermostat. They told me the whole procedure, plus there was the book, so I remembered the procedure, and I looked at the book just to make sure I was remembering it correctly. Tried starting it, filled it up with pellets, the hopper with pellets, did the whole startup routine, nothing. Are you serious? So I reversed everything, started it over, nothing. And then at the one place it says, remove the side panel of your stove and make sure that the red control light is on. I'm like, seriously? I have to take the side of my stove off? That seems odd, but okay. So I got my tools and unscrewed the side panel. Well, the red control light that's supposed to come on early in this process was not coming on. So I unscrewed the fuse. There's a little fuse in there. The fuse was fine. It was getting electricity because the blower was running. So I knew it was, that was working right. I don't know if it's the thermostat line that's not right or if there's something else that's not connected properly. But fuse was fine. I screwed it back in, which caused a blue light to blink at me. It says nothing in the book about a blue light blinking, so who knows what that is. But there was definitely something up. So I called the stove place Saturday, and they're like, oh, well, you'll have to call, service. And here's the number. It's like, okay, are they open today? No, they're not open until Monday. So at that point, I'm thinking, I'm really annoyed that this did not get tested when it was first installed. And I'm really glad I didn't wait until it was 10 degrees out to try to start this thing. So in the end, I called Monday, talked to service. Well, actually, no, somebody else called me back from the stove place Saturday because they didn't know I'd already talked to somebody. And that guy was very nice. He was the guy I actually bought it from. And he talked me through the thing and made sure I was doing everything right. And I was. And he said, well, you might need to do that startup cycle about 5 or 6 times the first time. He said, I don't know why, but sometimes it takes a while for it to. I'm like, okay, that sounds really hokey, but whatever. And I did that, and it didn't help. So Monday I called, talked to service. Told them my problem. They're like, okay, we'll send somebody out. So Friday, tomorrow, I will have somebody out here, hopefully fixing my stove and making it work. Nothing is ever easy. I've been trying to finish up some other outside stuff. I moved a bunch of dirt the other day. Oh, I got the last pallet of pellets, the last 2 pallets of pellets moved to where they need to be. So all of my pallets are appropriately located now. And I moved some dirt. I'm almost done moving the dirt, hopefully, because it's actually more like mud. We got so much rain there for a while that it's a lot of mud, but can't do much about that. I'm just really busy getting ready for Maine. I've decided to spend an extra day up there since I'm going to be in Maine and I don't get there very often. I'm leaving Wednesday to drive up. It's going to take me 2 days to get up there. I have some stops I want to make along the way as well. And then I'll be at Highlands on the fly, which ends Sunday morning. And I was going to start driving home Sunday morning and get home Monday. But I decided, you know what? I want to see stuff in Maine, and it's going to be a beautiful area at a beautiful time of year. So I'm really hoping the weather cooperates for me to be able to do some hiking or something while I'm up there. I thought about hiking some of the trails in Baxter, the park, but unfortunately, like as I'm reading a lot of the trail descriptions, they're like, very strenuous, you will die. Like, great. Maybe I won't hike those by myself since I'm not familiar with the area. I guess there's a lot of rock slide stuff going on up there, or potential. So yeah, I'm going to avoid being killed by sliding rocks or falling off of cliffs by myself, things like that. Seems best. But I do want to see some stuff. So I'm just going to give myself an extra day, and I'll be home Tuesday instead of Monday. And Chris will be here the whole time holding down the fort. So that's the nice thing about having him stay here. I can kind of go off and do things like that and not have to worry about who's watching the pets in the house and all that good stuff. So now that I've just announced to the world when I will not be home, see, I always feel weird about that. It's like, hi, stalkers, if you want to come and scope out my house, here's your chance. You know, please, robbers, break in between these dates. I don't know. Please don't, okay? I'm assuming my knitting friends that watch this are not going to do that stuff to me. If you are some other creeper that's watching my podcast for no valid reason other than the knitting and spinning, go away. Seriously. No, I don't mean, I just know there are nefarious people out there. People, in the past, people have watched my podcast for reasons totally unrelated to the knitting and for weird, creepy reasons. So that always kind of creeps me out, but that's just sort of a thing that anybody who's on the internet in the public eye like that has to deal with, I guess. So I try to think the best of humanity. I'm optimistic that way. Anyhow, reading. Let's talk about reading. I finished Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. Loved it. I'm totally going to listen to it again. Wonderful book. I may listen to her first book again too. Let's pretend this didn't happen. Her books are great. So I finished that, and then I started and finished You're Never Weird on the Internet, Almost, by Felicia Day. And if you're not familiar with Felicia Day, she's an actress and a web personality. She was in, I think she had like a recurring role in Eureka. She was in Firefly, which I've never watched. I really need to watch Firefly. What else was she? I know she was in a couple other things, but she also had her own web series for quite a while called The Guild. And she's very into gaming, and I don't know. It's just cool. It's funny because it's an area of geekiness that I'm really not tied into because I don't do video game stuff very much. But her book was really interesting, and she's funny. She was homeschooled, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to listen to it, because you know it's interesting now. We're in a generation where there is, you know, a past generation of homeschooled kids who are now adults, and getting to hear their experiences is interesting, because, you know, when I was going through it with my kids, it was largely, that was sort of the first big generation doing it, at least widely known. I mean, people have been homeschooling long before that, but it wasn't quite as in the center eye as it is these days, if that makes any sense. So anyway, I enjoyed listening to her. She was really funny. And then I finished that, and there's a few other ones that I do want to listen to, but I was never in a place where I could download them at the time. So I still have the Dear Sugar book, Tiny Beautiful Things, that I hadn't finished listening to. I can only listen to it in small snippets because a lot of the stuff she says in there just strikes me, and I really have to take time to digest it. So I started listening to that again, and I'm really enjoying that. She has another book out called Wild, which is an account of her hiking the Pacific coast back when she was like 22, I think. And that really intrigues me. I would like to listen to that. I wish she was the one who read it, though. She doesn't. And another one is A Walk in the Woods by Bill Bryson, which I actually read that book years and years and years ago. And that was good, too. I think they just made it into a movie recently. But it came up on my Audible thing, and since I was looking at wild and other outdoorsy kind of books. I thought, oh, that one could be kind of interesting to listen to, but again, he doesn't read it. So I really like memoirs when they're read by the person who wrote them. That's my preference. So we'll see. I'm not sure what I'm going to listen to next. I've got a couple other things on my Audible that I have not, that I've purchased that I haven't listened to yet. There's some that I want to get, but they're really short. They're only like 4 hours, and I hate to waste an entire credit, an Audible credit, on a 4-hour audiobook, because I can listen to that in one fell swoop. You know, if I'm dying, I can get through a 4-hour audiobook at one time. And that seems like such a waste. But they cost like $15 if you want to buy it outright, and that also kind of seems like a waste, considering I forget how much one of my credits costs. I don't know. So, blah. There's also one that Betty White did. Oh, God rest her soul. She passed away recently, didn't she? I'm pretty sure I heard that. I always like Betty White, but her audiobook is like 2 hours long. It's like, no, I'm not buying that right now. Maybe I'll get that when it's on a special sometime. So anyway, that's my listening lately. So let's move on to shop news. We have the third quarter Fabrinymph Dye Works finished object winner. So that was for the months of July, August, and September, and I drew that winner as well. And the third quarter winner is Young Knitter 1. And she won, I did not write down your actual name, I'm sorry, but she knit a thunder cowl out of my mega base in the grape juice colorway. So congratulations, Young Knitter 1. I know she was taking part in the alphabet cowl too, so hey, congratulations and thanks for doing all the knitting and partaking in the knit-alongs and the finished object contest, the quarterly thread. So please PM me and I will send you your coupon code for your $25 gift certificate to my shop that you can use on whatever you would like. So yay! The only other thing coming up is Highlands on the Fly. That's next week, like I just said, and I scoped out my schedule for you. I will be at the market. I'm at the point right now where I'm pretty much done dyeing for this. I have to dye some fiber yet. I probably won't have as much as I wish I would have, but I can't help that. I'm running out of time because I've got this huge wholesale order that I need to get out by Monday. And that is really my first priority because that's already been partially paid for. I find whenever wholesale clients pay you for something, they kind of like to get what they paid for in a timely manner. It's good for business. But anyway, that's been my primary dyeing focus. But at the same time, all my other dyeing has been for special orders, which pretty much all of the special orders that I needed to have out before I left are out. All of the barn dance special orders, pre-orders, all but one is out. And the one that isn't out was somebody who ordered something else that's also a special order item. And I'm working on it. That one's dyed. It just has to be reskeined. So anyway, but those are all out. I'm up to date with special orders, anything that needed to be out before I got back from Maine. So everything else has been, you know, Highlands on the Fly dyeing. And I will tell you right now, the majority of what I'm going to have with me is a lot of self-striping sock yarn. That's what I really focused a lot of my energy on. I'll have that. I'll have a lot of semi-solids, both in fingering and worsted weight. I will have fingering weight gradients. I'll also have some DK weight gradients that I put in my Takushcha cow kits. I will have variegated and tonal, both in fingering weight and some in lace weight. Maybe not a lot in lace weight, but there will be some. I'm going to see if I can put together some flurry kits too. I may be able to pull that off. If not, I'm sorry. The thing that I probably will not, I definitely will not have at this point, I've had to just axe it from the lineup. I won't have any worsted weight self-striping. Worsted weight self-striping is usually not a big seller at shows for me anyway. That's why I kind of left it towards the end. At best, I sell 1 or 2 skeins of it. Who knows? It might have been different at this coming show, but historically speaking, it's not usually one of the better sellers. The sock weight is. So that's what I focused on. So I'm sorry if you were hoping to find the worsted weight. I apologize. However, what I am going to do for Highlands on the Fly that I do not usually do at shows is I'm going to take special orders. So if there is something that you were hoping to find and I don't have it, I will let you pre-order it as a special order at the show, and I will ship it to you without charging you any shipping costs. So it'll be like, you know, you won't be having to pay shipping, which you wouldn't if you were able to find it at the show. You'll just have to wait, you know, that 4 to 6 weeks for me to get it done and out to you. So that's sort of how I'm mitigating the fact that I'm not going to have quite as much with me as I was hoping that I would have, but hopefully that'll make up for it. So anyway, I'm really looking forward to Highlands on the Fly. I cannot wait to get up there. That is going to be so much fun. And not just for the vending part. That's like a minimal part of it. I just can't wait to have a weekend to myself, to just sit and knit with my people and relax and be in a beautiful area. I can't wait. I need that. So, alrighty. I think that's everything. I usually forget something and I remember it as soon as I shut the camera off, but that's going to have to do for today. So, that's everything. If you're going to be in Maine next week, I hope I get to see, well, of course I will. It's a small retreat. We're going to all see each other. So I'll look forward to seeing you. And I will record again after I'm back from Highlands on the Fly. And like I said before, I probably will do like a little orphans update after Highlands on the Fly. And hopefully by that point, I'll also have the fiber in that I'm going to offer for those of you who want to use it for the cow, the sal, the spinalong. So, but I'll talk about more about that the next time. So, alrighty. Have a great rest of your day and the rest of your week. I hope you have a good weekend coming up, and I will see you later. Bye.